Alright friends, we're off on a little adventure as we're prepping to get ready to go to Mexico, and I thought I would take you guys along with me as I head off to the Aurora Shopping Center to get a few things from Ulta and just kind of have a chill day getting some things for my trip. I did have to stop at the Chick-fil-A to get some snackage because I started to not feel very good on the bus, and I would end up getting the chicken nuggets. They are my favorite. I also really enjoy the waffle fries, and then I do think I got a Sprite here. And I'm just going to share my little nuggies with you guys because they are so perfectly cooked. And I will chow down and eat this, and then we're going to head off to the Ulta store, which is just a few blocks away from the Chick-fil-A. And goal is to find some curly hair products, as I've wanted to try Pattern Beauty very specifically. So I was looking for some travel size items here, and I did find this kind of curl kit, so I did snag this guy, and then I just kind of looked around at the rest of what was happening in Ulta because I've never really been in Ulta. I've always been a Sephora girl, mainly because Sephora was kind of built first in Seattle and it was popular when I was in high school. I did also check out the fragrance section, as getting into perfumes is something that I would like to do, and I didn't realize perfumes were so expensive, especially obviously these name brand ones. I really liked the packaging on the Gucci, so that was what I was kind of thinking about. And then I found these kind of mini spray travel ones, which kind of made a little more sense for me since I was looking for travel size stuff, as well as price was better. And then I did also check out all of the press-on nails because I've been making all of my own, and I was thoroughly impressed by all the different kind of styles and colors that you could get of press-ons. Oh, and then I'm a fan of these like stickers that you can just put on your nails. If you don't want to paint your nails, highly recommend. So yeah, was just checking out all the different nail stuff. And then I did come across this lovely Bridgerton perfume, and it had 3 fragrances. There was a hydrangea, a peach, and then a vanilla, which I would end up snagging the very last one of the travel size sprays, as you can see here. And then we went about 5 feet away to go to the Daiso because they've closed all the other Daisos, and I didn't realize that they opened a Daiso up here. So that was the other reason I wanted to come over to this shopping area, was to go to Daiso. I wanted to see their travel stuff, as well as I love Daiso. It's one of my favorite stores. I think it's better than a lot of the dollar stores that we have here in America. I will say the Daiso here did have a lot of things for like $3 to almost $10, so it's not really a dollar store anymore. Like, see, there's a sign that says $6. But as stated, we came for the travel section, so here we are looking at all the travel goods. I found these super adorable pastel kind of luggage tags, and then I was just looking at all the different kind of bags that they had. I wanted something for my travel size kit, and I wasn't really looking for a bag. I more so wanted bottles, but I just wanted to show that they had a very good travel size section. And here I am snagging a few bottles, like a spray one for water, and then I needed some for my shampoo and conditioner. I thought this kit was really nice, but I ended up just getting a few individual bottles, but they really have a lot of options. So Daiso was great for finding travel size stuff. And here's me doing a little haul that is on my TikTok as well, so I thought I would just Alright friends, who knew getting a new suitcase would turn into a rabbit hole / deep dive situation, but I did order, or I wanted a kind of vintage aesthetic looking suitcase, as I'm not a big fan of the like shiny new plastic roller looking ones. So I did find this brand called Steamline Luggage, and they had these absolutely beautiful suitcases, and I really just needed a large 24-inch because I did already have a carry-on, and I saw that they were pretty expensive. As you can see, $750 for one suitcase. So I did a little bit more Googling and searching, and I found this brand called Co Trunkage, so I decided to check out their website. looks a little similar. But yeah, so I checked out their website, and on their page I saw that they kind of do these like sets of suitcases, and so you could get like 2 or 3 suitcases for around like $400. So that's what I decided to do. This was me just checking out their website, and you get kind of a 24-inch, a carry-on that's like 22 inches, and then this kind of little purse-sized one. I also really liked this blue set, so I thought about that, but I would eventually find this absolutely beautiful pink kind of floral set, and that would be the one that I would order for around $400. Here's me clicking on it now, and as stated, I ordered it for $400. It said on their website that it would get there within about 15 days, and I did order it on like February 5th. So I was already cutting it a little close, but it should have been there by the 20th, and I was supposed to leave on the 24th. Anyway, Suitcase didn't arrive, so then I started looking for more Suitcase, and I ended up finding my Suitcase on Alibaba, which is a drop shipping website. And not only did I find the Suitcase, I would also say that the photos that they have on Alibaba, the stock photos, look exactly like those website photos for both the really expensive Steamline luggage as well as the coach frontage. So then I was a little upset, because then that brings just kind of into question of who originally is the brand and which one would be the best quality, and you would hope that the really high-end Steamline luggage would be probably the originator and the quality, but the fact that the photos look exactly the same is where I have a little bit of questioning, because they're like literally the same stock photos. And Alibaba has even more photos that are the similar style, so then I wonder if the brand could just buy the photos. But this was the rabbit hole that I went down, because my Suitcase still had not arrived. And at this point, I was starting to get a little stressed and just trying to find a new Suitcase. And I would end up going back to the Aurora shopping area, because that is also where the only Ross in Seattle is. And so Ross is where I always get my suitcases, because you can usually get like a carry-on for I'd say between $30 to maybe $80, and you get a nice 24 to 30 inch suitcase for under $100. I would usually say about 60 to 100. So here I went to check out some suitcases, a bit disappointed that my set hadn't arrived, and that also it may not just be the best quality. So here I am checking out this blue suitcase that was a little more out of the price range, and it was I think like $60 or $70. I really wanted just a $50 suitcase if I was going to have to buy one from Ross. So yeah, I just, looked at a few suitcases, and I still had about 3 to 4 days before I had to go. So I decided that I didn't want any of the suitcases I saw, and that I would just maybe risk this and hope that my suitcase I ordered would arrive. So then the next step was heading off to go to the storage unit, because I am staying at my best friend's house and most of my stuff is in storage. So I had to go to storage so that I could at least kind of pre-pack my stuff before my suitcases arrived. So this was all a little stressful, but we're just going with the journey, that everything's gonna work out. So here I am. I brought my wagon with me, as I had a few stuff at my friend's house from doing an art project, so I wanted to put that back into the storage unit, as well as snag my packing cubes and also check out my carry-on suitcase that I did have. So that's what we were doing here. Alright friends, and we're inside my storage unit, which is my personal one, as I have a second one for all the photography stuff from the studio. This one is set up so that I can access the front, and it's kind of like a closet, so that all of my clothes are in the front, and then I'll grab my packing key.
Hello friends, we have 5 days till Mexico, and I want to take all of this stuff with me, so we're going to be using these packing cubes, and I do roll everything that I fit into the cubes, as when you condense them you can kind of fit more stuff, And I was also just raised by a very organized parent, so this was all very much ingrained to me growing up. And I just like organizing. But 5 days till Mexico.
Alright guys, it's the day before I'm supposed to leave for Mexico, and we still don't have a suitcase. So here I am back at Ross, and I put it into the universe that I wanted a pink suitcase. And lo and behold, I found a set of Hello Kitty suitcases. And the large one's looking around $75, and our little guy is about $55. It came out to be about $140. We'll take these guys home, and now it's the night before, so we're packing, throwing all of our mesh cubes into the suitcases, and I will see you guys in the next video, and we will be on our way to Mexico. Alright friends, it looks like maybe we won't be going to Mexico, as it seems like the US allegedly might have helped take out one of the largest cartel leaders, who was based out of Puerto Vallarta, and more so the northern side of Mexico, which erupted in a lot of chaos in retaliation to this situation, and a lot of tourists were told to shelter in place. I was being asked by a lot of my coworkers if I was still going to go to Mexico because of what was happening and because it seemed dangerous to travel, and which it did. But overall, I don't want to belittle or make the situation in Mexico seem small, but overall, throughout history, there is always some sort of civil unrest, as well as in our current times. There is always some sort of civil unrest happening within the world, and especially here in the US. So in one capacity, I wasn't letting that change my idea of traveling to Mexico, but my concerns were definitely high. So here is me doing a little bit of a dramatic reenactment of me trying to contact the Airbnb people, who were very responsive about the situation and what was going on, and they responded by reassuring me that everything was okay and that they had just been at the beach and to check out the travel advisory map, which I did. And from what I could see on this map, to me it's a lot of places that either the US has issues with or has done something, and those are a lot of the places we don't travel to. And as you can see on this map, I'm clicking the northern side, which all is where everything was happening, and then this blue area is where I was supposed to be going, and specifically the Yucatan and the Quintana Roo area of Mexico is where Tulum is. So I felt pretty safe traveling, as well as my Airbnb host sent me the Tulum Times, which showed that by Monday, February 23rd, they were resuming regular life in Tulum and that nothing was really happening. And I was supposed to fly out on the 24th, so I was feeling pretty okay about the situation. But here's me just being a little more dramatic about trying to decide if this was the right decision to go through with. But it was for my birthday, so we were gonna go through, and life is all about the journey, so we just gotta see how things turn out. And as stated, everything was good to go for Mexico.